Good morning. How wonderful to see people here in person. Whoa, it's been a long time. And I also want to welcome everyone who's here on Zoom or YouTube, Facebook Live, and all the other media that we are so thrilled to expand our congregation to people who can't be here in person. But what a gift it is for us to come. I haven't seen some of you in 2 years, and you're beautiful. So I'm full of joy and gratitude to have the honor of being here and being your storyteller this morning. So now I want to introduce our musical guest, who I've had the privilege of talking to this morning, and his name is J.P. Grady, or as his uncle named him when he was little, Raven. So he's going to.
Yes, Falcon, but I get Raven very, very often. So it was nice this morning is that I met Laura here, and she plays the keyboards. She's going to be very, very kind and join me on a song here. And we didn't check with the sound crew on this yet, so we thought we'd surprise them too. But I want to start off here with a song. This song here is called Spirit Horse. And I came up with this song here. I was sitting in the basement one morning trying to come up with a song, and I had the TV on but no sound. And as I was sitting there, I wasn't coming up with anything. I noticed that I had Oprah on, by the way, and I had noticed that the screen had gone black, and then all of a sudden, from out of the blackness up comes this little picture of a child, and then it would shoot up into the corner, and another one come up and shoot up next to that one, and it just kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going and filling up that screen, and finally had to turn it up and go, what is this all about? Are these, spelling bee winners, or our future presidents, and as I turned it up and I heard, and it's over, and it keeps growing daily, that these are all the children we've lost to child abuse. And everything just kind of dropped, and I was like, oh wow. So there are some tribes that believe, and the native tribes that believe that there's a spirit horse comes for you, for the innocent. And so I wrote this song here, Spirit Horse. So please enjoy. Ever you go away, light will shine you, guide you my way. Ever you lose your way, I will find you this day and every day, every day, every day. the lonely nights that now seem to never end. Where is the end, my friend? Ever you go away, light will shine you, guide you my way. Every day, every day, every day. In his darkness hung the moon, but now it's gone. In his eyes shone the moon, but now it's gone. Way too soon, goodbye. So long. Pounding of my heart, the beating of the rain. Pounding of my heart, and the beating of that rain keeps me up tonight. I can't sleep tonight. Another child, another child. Silver and gold, brought by men in black. To the heat of the Southwest, legends come and legends go. The voice of the owl speaks loud tonight, and he will ride. Ride. Spirit horse, carry me to my home. Spirit horse can take away my pain. Spirit horse, carry me far away from here, where the trees are green, the air is clean, and love is free. For you, for me. Take away my body, leave my soul. Take away these eyes, be my gold. It's raining silver and gold. It's raining silver and gold. Into the wind and the dark and the rain.
Thank you, JP. That was beautiful. Both of you, beautiful music. Thank you. My name is Ronna Biggs, and I'm your practitioner for today, and I invite you to join me in a prayer this morning. So, in this very moment, I find myself in this place, this space, that my heart and my whole being are right where they are supposed to be in this moment. And I breathe into the knowing that there is one great love from which all has come and brought together to create this very precious moment. And I breathe into this connection. I allow that love to move through my body, so easily given, so generously shared, that in this moment of community that we gather together to simply be in love, to honor that vibration that lifts each one of us higher, that lifts our community higher, that sparkles like the diamonds in the sky across the universe. What a wonderful time to be in love. And I thank you, sweet spirit, for this knowing, for this awareness, for the rain that falls that offers its cleansing and nourishing to one and all and to Mother Earth. This is a good day, and so it is. Thank you. Now invite JP back. Thank you.
Rain, wash away these tears. Help me find some solid ground to set my feet on. Rain, wash away this heartache you left in me, weighing me down, weighing me down. Maybe you can see the sun where you're standing. All I see is rain. Should have fall through the night, and this old room is cold with sorrow, dark with fear. It's driving me insane. Help me make it through the night. Help me make it through. The rain. Sister Moon, give me a tune. I want to sing myself to sleep below this rainfall. Sister Sleep, give me This old room is cold with sorrow, dark with fear. It's driving me insane. Help me make it through the night. Help me make it through the rain.
I even wrote down the word falcon, and that raven just flew in. And Miss Hope, of course, I don't remember your last name. Tell me again. I mean, your first name. Flora. Flora, beautiful name. And I love her shirt. Did you notice? It says love and then a semicolon. And I thought, how perfect, because the answer to every challenge is love. Love is a healing energy of our life, of the universe. It always has been, and it always will be. Because when we feel that love inside ourselves, everything opposed to love, every squirrely thought, I'm sure the squirrel is my totem animal, every squirrely thought is vanquished, lubricated with the oil, the essence, the slickness, if you will, of love. Nothing can stick to love except the absolute truth that we are all perfect, whole, and complete just the way we are. And the only problem is that we forget that. Ernest Holmes said, our founder, there's no addition needed in your life. It's all about subtraction. These stories we've made up or other people have taught us that we took to heart in place of love. I mean, is there anyone you're more critical of than yourself? Think about it. The time you spend saying, I shouldn't have said that. Oh my gosh, what will they think of me? How could I be so stupid? Whatever. If you're like me. If you're not, I would like to touch the hem of your garment. Because I think we all have those insecurities, and they're just something that we've pasted on to let ourselves be miserable. Why? I don't know. But what I do know, since I came to this teaching, golly, so many years ago now, I was adding it up the other day, near 40 years ago, and I met this wonderful person of mine, Bob. When I introduced myself, did I say that Bob and I were the founders of this center? I think I forgot to say that. We came here in 1988, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But my title, the theme for the month is Dancing on the Edge. And I thought that what Flora and JP did this morning was such an example of jumping off the edge. I took 7 years of classical piano. I don't remember how to play chopsticks. Because every time I played, I had to practice with pennies on my wrists. I had a classical teacher. I was doing things like Waltz of the Flowers, Tchaikovsky, and on and on. I was a technician at best. I didn't have the love of music pouring out of me. Well, I love music when someone else is doing it. But I got in just a a breakdown if I sang a solo or if I played a piano solo. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't go over there and play that now. After 7 years of my parents' hard earned money and all that sweat and tears. But these two, they didn't even practice beforehand. They were willing to stand up there in front of all of us here and all over the world, as far as we know, and figure out the chords right there. And they didn't break a sweat. And it was lovely. Because when two are gathered together, the power is multiplied. It's not an addition, it's multiplication. And two people willing to jump off the edge and stop dancing brought that together. And I thought the depth of that and the bravery, I was like, golly gosh, is she really going to do that? And she did, and it was marvelous for both of you. Bob and I live on Lemmy Island now, and I discovered this morning that JP lives right on the shore at Sandy Point, and we look right over at Sandy Point where we live. That's we see down the Strait of Georgia and Sandy Point, and the houses when the sun shines on them in the morning. It is so beautiful. All the houses that I know are all different colors, but they all turn white. And Bob and I call it our little Greek village that we get to have a constant view of. And now when I look over there, I'm going to be looking at you because I know that we just had a love fest this morning talking before. And I feel like I'm having a love fest with you all right now. And you all right now. So the topic that I chose this morning, I called the persistence paradox, because I feel like my superpower has been persistence. In fact, one of the congregations when we were building the center here said I was just like a little bulldog. Once I got a hold of something, I wouldn't let go. And that's really true unless I decide it was not the right idea to begin with, that my ego is just keeping me hanging on to the idea. But if I really know that it's my passion and that I have the grit to fulfill it, and I have a posse around me and cheerleaders around me who are willing to partake and catch fire with a vision themselves, wow, talk about multiplication. It's so powerful. And that is what the most important thing that Bob and I have ever done in our life, how that happened. And I'm going to share a little bit about the steps, the chapters in manifesting your dreams, of living your dreams. As Thoreau says, of living the life that you've imagined. Imagination and persistence are so powerful. Having seen it, felt it, tasted it, embraced it, it happens. Unless you, let me use a correct Sunday service word. Let's see. Unless you purposely opt out, that was clean, or you just change your mind. But in my life, I think that the only things that I have thought I wanted and were even passionate about them and changed my mind, those didn't happen because I got a little more wisdom. I got a little more experience. I got a little more grown up. I got a little more realistic. Like there was a time I wanted to be an NBA male basketball player. I know that's just a ridiculous, I didn't really want to do that. I did want to be better at volleyball. But some things, sometimes you have these wild imaginations. And the first class I ever took, gosh, in 1983, uh, at a Center for Spiritual Living, I had people who just like, they had no common sense whatsoever. They just kicked over the traces and went out on usually some money making scheme. And let me say something else about that. Motivation is extremely, extremely, extremely important. Something that you have a pure motivation. And Ernest Holmes, our founder, even said that the first time he decided to start lecturing, he chose a venue that people had to come up the fire escape in order to get there and crawl in the window. This is a true story because I guess at that time he could all he could come up with. But he contemplated. On his lunch hour, he would sit out on a bench in a park and think about why this wasn't working out. And he arrived at impure motive. The reason he wanted to do it was he thought it would be easy, it would be something he enjoyed, and I don't know what else. But to check your motive, why do you want to do this? And sometimes it's because, well, it would please my parents. I just got it would please my parents. I think it would make people think more of me. Whatever it is, our motive is important. And so that's why I say persistence is a bicycle you can fall off either side. You can be persisting in something that doesn't bring you joy, doesn't have a pure motive, isn't going to help you or anyone else in the long run. So really checking out your motive is very important. Sometimes you're in someone else's job, just getting by, waiting to retire. And that's what you're looking forward. What will my retirement be like? I just want to retire. I'm not happy. I'm not getting any satisfaction out of that. Or I've got to live up to expectations. This is what's expected of me. If I had tried to live up to my parents and the expectations I was reared with, this center in this form would not be here. I'm sure someone would have started one, but it wouldn't have been us because I would have been living someone else's life. And there's no joy in doing that. That's what we want to do. We want to stop dancing on the edge and be able to live our own life the way we want to live it. Garrett said, whatever you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. And I love that. And when I was dancing on the edge, those thoughts of the great thinkers, the poets, came to mind. They came to mind, and I fed myself with that. And then I got this inkling, my first entry into Science of Mind, this wonderful and powerful teaching that says, change your thinking, change your life. I never realized that my thoughts were just made up by me, that I was just making up these thoughts. I thought they just came in and I swallowed them whole. I thought thoughts came in because they were true, or I wouldn't be thinking them. And then I realized, it was how I was perceiving, how I was responding, the story I was making up, the meaning I was making up about the things that happened to me. They were all me. There was no blame. I was there. That was the common denominator of anything that was giving me problems. Now, I wasn't having problems in my job. I did step off the edge and had a wonderful career. But when I came to this teaching, it changed my personal life so profoundly. It was like I was a different person, and people around me even noticed it. They said, "There's something different about you. What is it?" It was that profound that someone else could recognize it, because it changed my life at depth. When I relaxed into that meaning, that knowing that there was no one to blame, not even me, because I didn't know. I was unaware. For some reason, the fact that there was a pattern of perfection in the center of my being, and that I could persist at something that I was passionate about, that was meaningful, that would help others, that was filled with love, that was a worthy purpose, a worthy task, a worthy mission and vision. And what happened as I stayed in that teaching, not very much longer, not a long time, maybe a year, I was in this wonderful new way of thinking about life, of feeling about life. Everything changed, and it can. Not in the material world, but in the inner world, in who and what I really was. Have some of you had that happen for you? The change? You think back, and I think back of Colleen before this wonderful, liberating truth came to me. And what I realized is I don't even know that person. I am so surprised that she was so confused. One of my dad's saying was, they couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. And that's really what it was like, because I was on a loop and trying to fight my way out. I knew it wasn't good. I was miserable. I was unhappy, but I didn't know how to change. It was about letting go. It was about subtraction and letting that light shine through. And maybe we have to go through that sometimes. You know, they say there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Well, the light's already in. So let me say that's how the light gets out. That's how your light shines. That's how the glory of spirit, the universe, is released from its imprisoned splendor and let out into the world in a mighty healing way that does good for so many people. Not me, but sharing the truth. Others awakening to that, their own splendor, their own perfection, their own being, their own gift. We each come with our own gift of love to shower on a thirsty world. And the world is thirsty for what we have to share. So we can persist in dancing on the edge for a very, very long time. For some reason, the squirrel doesn't do that. If you've ever noticed, if the squirrel gets on an edge, it leaps. If the squirrel's on the skinny branches, it has a purpose being there, and it'll run right back to that trunk and down it. And I one time had one run down it and up my leg to say hi. So how do we jump off the edge, and what happens after we jump? Well, I said this earlier, but we use our imagination. And I knew the first time I went to a convention and I sat by Bob, who I'd only known for a few weeks, really. I'd seen him. I imagined him. I wanted him. And he was the only one in that whole congregation that I had my eye on. But he didn't notice. And finally, I sang in the choir the Easter after I had come on Memorial Day, the year before. And I stood by a woman, became friends. And I said, you know, there's only one gentleman I'm interested in this center, and it's Bob MacGilchrist. And she said, oh, he's my prayer partner. I'm going to tell him. Now that I'm older and wiser, I realize I could have asked him out. I didn't know that then. I hadn't fully awakened to my magnificence as we are all doing. And he came out, told me he had a business call to make in the region. I lived way out on the Kings River. He came out to see me. And it worked. It worked. It worked. I imagined him. I used to say, the Reverend Colleen MacGilchrist will now speak when I was at a conference. And I had met Bob personally about a week before. So things can manifest like that. And it was pretty easy. But sometimes things take longer and you jump off, stop dancing on the edge and really jump off. You somehow gather enough faith around you. And before that, education, exploration, contemplation, you're ready, but you're on the edge. I hope I don't fall off. I'm on the edge, but it's okay if you fall off. I mean, because if you aren't having joy, if you aren't giving your gift, it's okay to fall off because you're just getting ready to fall down over and over again and getting up. Because it's like that often, especially on something like going to a city in a state where you know no one and decided that you're going to start a center. And you're going to start it from scratch. You're not interested in candidating, and I'm including Bob in that. You're not interested in candidating for any of the lovely places that you don't want to live, that are available and would welcome you. We wanted to start from scratch because we wanted to start a center that we knew was grounded in love, grounded in change your thinking, change your life. That's the part that really got me because it works. It works. And the part where there's people who have not been exposed perhaps to this teaching. And so we took the leap. And along the way, it was hard. Along the way, there were obstacles, one after another. That's where persistence comes in. Perseverance, if you will. Wanting to hold on to your vision no matter what. Was I always happy? Was I always calm? Was I doing it with serenity and poise? I have someone sitting here who came the second or third service and is still here. And he's probably shaking his head. No, you weren't. No, I wasn't. Sometimes I was discouraged. Sometimes it seemed like we would be struggling forever because part of our vision was to create place and permanence in the community because we felt like we were planting a seed. We wouldn't be here forever. Ministers come and go, but we were here and we wanted to be here to stay, and look how well it's worked. That was 1988, and here we are. And the same thing happened a year and a half ago with COVID. It could have been the end, and it was the end for quite a few businesses and organizations, nonprofits, but it wasn't for us at all. We thrived. We have a wonderful, wonderful senior minister, Dr. Andrea, and I feel like she's the current pinnacle of this center. She is the blossoming, fully blossoming of that seed we planted so long ago. And it's been through waves, we've been through waves, but I love the fact that I am the minister emeritus, the old beloved minister, with no responsibility. And I have such a deep contentment, such a deep feeling of gratitude and blessing. Bob and I look out our windows and we look at each other after it will be 37 years in December since we married. And we look at each other and tell each other almost every day how grateful we are that we found each other in a center for spiritual living. And we are so grateful for this center. We're so grateful for living where we are, where we look out the window and we see JP across the waters. I feel like my cup is pressed down and overflowing. And I feel like my job is to just be love and gratitude. Because the baton, it's a relay race. If it's a race at all, it's a relay of love and commitment and passion. And we've passed on the baton. And it's such a wonderful feeling. And I think each and every life can be like that, ought to be like that. When you say you're elderly, you're a tribal elder, the time has come to pass a baton. The time has come to have a life of joy and walking the path of the householder, which has always been my path. I'm not a sage, I'm not a mystic, I'm not anything great and magical. I'm the path of the householder. What you do one thing is how you do everything. And if we do everything with love and gratitude, life is wonderful. So let's go together in prayer and know that each and every one of us is the most important link in the chain. The most important because we are the one we can choose to be. We are the life we can choose to live. We are the life, the mind, and the heart who can interpret this story called life in any way we want to. And we have arrived at a time where wisdom is available. And the only wisdom that counts is breaking open to that light within and letting that splendor out, that joy out, that peace out, that contentment out. That stuff that is your birthright. I don't have a doubt about it. I know it's the truth for me and for you and for every being on this earth and in the universe, because there is only one life. That life is God, or Great Spirit, or Allah, or whatever you name it, because it just is. And it just is perfect, whole, and complete. And you are an individualized expression of that one life, and anything else we are making up. And so we let go, we let be, we let ourselves be the light of the world. And so it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Colleen. And as JP and Flora, you playing again? Great. Come on up as they prepare. Like to invite the folks who are here in the sanctuary to prepare for the offering. And the ushers are coming forward with the baskets. And speaking of some great legacy, these baskets are beautifully woven by former practitioner Joni Nielsen some time ago. And they are still here and have great energy flowing through them. So thank you for your generous gifts. And if you are with us remotely, you can always go online and make an additional donation to the center. But thank you so much for your gifts. They, as Colleen talked about, they have helped keep our center moving and growing in a robust and vibrant way. So thank you.
Look at the tree-lined mountain, see souls of the dead and living beneath one sky, a blue fitted sheet with puffs of pillow clouds. Look at the tree-lined mountain, see souls of the dead and living beneath one sky, a blue fitted sheet with puffs of pillow cloud.
Hello. I have some announcements to share today as we start to close out our day. Thank you so much for being here. This is so exciting. Every time I come in here, it's just lovely to see a few more people sitting together and sharing in community here. And thank you to everyone who's watching from afar and tuning in, and keep any social media posts rolling in and sharing the love. So thank you. You can always go back and access the podcast on our website too a little bit later. So thank you. Couple of notes today. If you've got a little bit of time after service, today is the last day for the used book and art sale, and that is set up in the classroom in the back. So if you're here on the campus this morning, check that out, and there'll be some folks back there to help you with that. There's especially a beautiful collection of art by Nancy Rose Southern, who many of you know is a member here. So wonderful books, beautiful art. Take a spin through there. A couple of announcements coming up this week. We are still continuing to do the morning prayers at 7 a.m. and then the evening gratitudes at 8:45 p.m. So you can bookend your entire day if you would like with some prayer, gratitude, connecting with other folks. Those links are online, but we're going to keep continuing those for a while, and we'll let you know if we decide not to. But for now, great way to start your day, a little prayer A little gratitude. Thanks so much for that. And Kat, you're hosting the evening one's primary. Yep, right on. Excellent, excellent. And then today, Philip Flores, practitioner extraordinaire. I have to think of some great example, a great adjective for Philip. Philip is leading our men's group, and today, for the first time in a very long time, it is meeting here in person, right here in the sanctuary. So that's kind of an exciting moment to know that our groups are starting to come back together. And so if you're joining that group, it will start at noon, and we just ask folks to continue to honor wearing your mask as we're indoors, and we'll keep that going. But that's lovely to see folks coming together, and shout out to Philip for coordinating that group. There's some additional announcements that you may find online with some opportunities for prayer and meditation practice and other groups that are going to start meeting again. So check those out as you need to. Thank you so much to the good Reverend Colleen MacGilchrist for joining us today. Thank you, Bob, for being a part of the story and our center, absolutely. And thank you to our magnificent musical duo who have emerged. And thank you, Flora and JP. Thank you for your beautiful music. So with that, would you like to do a closing song and send us all on our way? Thanks, everyone.
I had, as you heard, had Laura joining me, so if you guys wouldn't mind giving her a nice round of applause. And yourselves too for enduring that. Thank you so much. I do want this song here. I am going to do solo here. This is a song I wrote. This song is called Diamonds, and I do want to send this out to you because it speaks of a person's journey, and in this song, it happens to so much happens to be a woman, and so once again, the name of the song here is called Diamonds. So please. She's flying ever closer to the ground, flying to find her way back home again. Swore she'd never roam again. She's trying bring it back to what it was before, what it was before her dirty little war. She won't fight it anymore. She found diamonds shining, broken bottles off the floor. I've been waiting, I've been wishing. She's dancing so much faster than before. She bends and twists like the wind that brought her home again. Ooh, she goes spinning around again. And she's laughing so much louder than before. Not a whisper. Oh, 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 what a roar. One giggle and it'll knock you to the floor. She found diamonds shining, broken bottles on the floor. much brighter than before. It lights up the full moon, the sun, and more. It's much brighter than before. She's crying so much softer than before. The tears are real, poured right from her very soul. It's raining silver and gold, with those diamonds shining, broken bottles off the floor. I've been waiting, I've been wishing so. She's flying. Ooh, flying. She's flying. Still gospel. She's flying. She's flying.